The decision by the Biden administration's FDA to roll back safeguards on the abortion drugs after or during COVID is getting pushback from a growing number of officials in states where pro-life laws are being violated by out-of-state doctors. Now, this policy put in place by the Biden administration still remains in effect. Well, the latest is coming from my home state of Louisiana, a very strong pro-life state, which I'm proud of. And it revolves around the abortion drug, because the abortion drug is accounting for a large and growing majority of abortions in America. We're going to talk about that coming up in just a little bit. Pro-life states are doing what they can to stop those who are undermining their ability to enforce their pro-life laws. Now, could this case be the one that turns the tide? Joining me now to discuss this is the Attorney General of Louisiana, Liz Murrill. Liz, thanks so much for joining us here on Washington Watch once again.
Thanks. It's great to be with you, Tony.
So, General, I want to thank you for stepping into this legal battle, and I know that this is not, you're passionate about this. You have a long track record of being pro-life, but here you're supporting the laws of the state of Louisiana. And you're being joined in trying to help women who are being, in this particular case, coerced into taking the abortion drug. Tell us about what happened to her and the steps that you're taking to try to stop this.
Well, Rosalie's story, is similar to some of the others that we've seen in some other states and here, where the pills were obtained by somebody else and they coerced her into taking them. And she is someone now who speaks about it and her regret, and that she still is sad about the loss of her child. And, Tony, the biggest problem is that the Biden administration never should have withdrawn the restrictions on these pills to begin with. I've been litigating in this space from the day I walked into the Attorney General's office in 2016. And, the abortion lobby and cartel was trying to basically take down all of our abortion laws and all restrictions on access to these pills. It's dangerous. And now we have drug dealers basically from other states who are mailing them illegally into our states to anybody who asks for them. And we've seen a number of cases where coercion is involved. A couple, Thomas Presley, one of our state senators, his sister was poisoned with them when her estranged husband tried to abort their child by putting the pills into her food.
Now, what's happening is that Louisiana is like one of a dozen states that is resolute in protecting the unborn, strongest pro-life laws in the nation. And the Dobbs decision, which you were very much involved leading up to that, acknowledged the states have a right to protect the unborn and the women from exploitation. The Dobbs decision said that. So
That's right.
Louisiana's got some very strong laws as a result of that recognition that the court gave. But they're being undermined by these abortion pills that are coming in from New York and California, are they not?
Well, and it's not just that. I mean, I think that, we certainly have seen these doctors and other organizations like Aid Access who are willing to facilitate obtaining the pills. Now, they'll give them to anybody that asks for them. I mean, you can lie, you can set up fake Facebook accounts. They're not careful. There is no medical, relationship here. They take your money and they mail you these pills and you don't know where they came from, and they don't know who they're sending them to. So that's concerning enough. But when we try to enforce our laws, as we have against the doctors in other states who are participating in this illegal scheme, we've been blocked by the governor of New York from trying to extradite a doctor who was indicted here for violating our criminal laws. And I expect that we will be blocked by Governor Newsom when we try to extradite a California doctor who sent the pills to Rosalie's boyfriend.
Yeah, so there's about 8 states, including California and New York, that have these shield laws. In fact, I think it was yesterday or last Friday, California passed an even more of a broader shield law for physicians there so that they can send these abortion pills into states without the doctor's name even being on the prescription. What can the federal government do? I mean, since this was a Biden-era policy, can this not be undone?
Absolutely can be. And that's what we've asked the Biden administration to do. And so, we have requested that they do that. They have indicated that they are reviewing the rule. I don't think this is hard. The data was never there for the rule that they put in place in the first instance. So, I think they need to withdraw it based on the complete lies that were relied on to withdraw the REMS protocols that used to be in place on these pills. Before the Biden administration basically took all these restrictions away, the rules required a face-to-face relationship with a doctor who conducted an ultrasound to ensure that there was not an ectopic pregnancy.
Right.
And they required a follow-up visit 3 weeks later to make sure that the woman wasn't going to potentially be subject to developing sepsis or some other kind of life-threatening, So, I mean, even under circumstances where someone takes them by consent, it is very dangerous for women.
Right.
And if you do it without checking to see whether you have an ectopic pregnancy, then you can cause extremely, you can become infertile. So, I mean, it's terrible.
So, General, it's pretty simple what you just described there. If those protocols were put back in place that were there before the Biden administration changed them during COVID, that means that they couldn't send pills from California or New York because it would require a in-person consultation, and so they're not going to fly up to New York and fly back and then fly back again. I mean, and it's not going to undermine the laws of the pro-life states, correct?
Well, and to be clear, it is illegal to send these pills by mail, even under federal law. That violates the Comstock Act.
But that's not being enforced.
It's not, and that would be federal officials that would have to enforce it. And so it is frustrating. It's never been legal to mail these pills. Under the prior law, there were restrictions, and if a doctor prescribed them in this state legally, they still had to comply with all of those restrictions.
So in the meantime, last question for you, General Murrill. All of the work that Louisiana and like-minded states have done to protect the unborn is now being assaulted by states like blue states like California, like New York, and in large part because of the policy that is currently in place at the federal level.
Right, and I don't think another state should have the ability to nullify the laws of this state when someone is committing a crime in this state intentionally. I mean, it is no different than if they were dealing fentanyl or anything else that we've declared illegal or subject to very, very restrictive use under only certain circumstances. So
it's because it's abortion. It's treated differently.
Abortion. All the rules go away when it involves abortion, and it's incredibly dangerous to women. It's just appalling.
Well, General Murrill, I want to thank you because you have a long track record of fighting for the unborn and fighting for women in our state of Louisiana. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank you for joining us today. And keep up the fight and let us know how we can help.
Thanks. It's great to be with you.